Hello there, what is the wildest thing you've ever done?
Well, the wildest thing I ever did was I defeated the U.S. Army in my underpants. I was a West Point graduate, graduated with honors way back in the 1980s and early 90s. I thought I was in the Army to defend against the communist menace, but it turned out that the Army was invading Grenada and Panama and fighting wars for oil and all the corporations. And I applied to be discharged from the Army as a conscientious objector, but instead got sent to Saudi Arabia in Operation Desert Storm. One thing led to another, and I ended up standing on the front lines between Saudi Arabia and Iraq, and held my hand out to stop all the tank and military traffic going towards the front lines. And as an act of resignation from the Army, I took off my uniform and was standing there in my underpants. One thing led to another. Next thing, I was out of the Army. That's how I defeated the U.S. Army in my underpants.
Unbelievable. So you're telling me you stood in front of like a tank or something? Or?
Yes. In my court-martial, they said that the military traffic and the tank was the first thing I stopped, was backed up for 5 miles. So there was 5 miles of tanks, Humvees, armored personnel carriers, motorized artillery, trucks, you name it.
And you stopped
5 miles.
And you stopped all of them.
2 directions, actually. I made it a strategic intersection. It was a Y. So both arms of the Y were backed up for 5 miles. That's right.
Wow. And how long were they backed up for?
Oh, it was probably a good hour. Nobody wanted to forcibly remove me from the intersection, so they finally called a hospital ambulance, and they put me in a psychiatric ward. Said I was crazy. They let me out a couple days later and put me back to work taking care of the soldiers.
Oh, because you're a doctor.
Yeah, because I was a doctor. So, but that was just until I got my court-martial, and I was court-martialed, and my punishment was discharge from the Army. So the Army could have saved all that effort by discharging me when I asked for it in the first place. But
wow. All right. Thanks. But
that was a story.
Who do you think should be? Just on a side note, thanks for that story, man. Who do you think should be president now?
Ron Paul. Go Ron Paul. He's the only guy I'd vote for.
Nice, man. All right. Thanks, buddy.
No problem.